So let's talk about some things that Mark Woodbury had to say. So if you don't know who Mark Woodbury is, he is the CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences. He's been with Universal for like 30 years. I love Mark Woodbury. He has a background in creative. He helped design the Wizarding Worlds. He's been involved with a lot of things Universal has done. So I love the fact that he is the CEO of the parks, but he also has a background in Universal Creative. So his whole goal, there is to provide a good experience. So I do like that as somebody that is running the parks. But he went to the what is it called? Bank of America Securities Inc. analyst event, I believe is what it was called.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, it was Bank of America, some sort of event they do. It's a bunch of analysts asking questions. He did have some interesting things to say already about the market share in Orlando. So they asked him a question about competing with Disney, essentially. And he actually mentions Disney. Many times Disney does not like to mention Universal or Epic Universe. Like they're obviously a major competitor, but Disney doesn't feel like that if they mention their name, all of a sudden they're going to drive a bunch of traffic to them, which I always thought was silly. But he said, I think we're in a really strong position to continue to drive incremental growth to the overall marketplace to take share in the process of that. Our chief competitor, Disney, is a strong competitor. They're going to be investing pretty heavily in the market too. I think it's a case of, all ships rise with the tide. We'll both drive audience to the marketplace and we'll be able to take our share. And he also said within the first 3 months of Epic being open, they've already seen a shift in market share, which I find very interesting because I think that's alluding to the fact as well that obviously Mark Woodbury is going to know Universal's numbers in terms of attendance. Mm-hmm. I have a strong possibility he also knows Disney's.
He probably does.
I would assume the CEO of Universal probably is either knows that by asking or knows people that will tell him. Mm-hmm. Because he's also not going to come here to this conference and lie. So if they know those numbers, they're already seeing a shift. I think that's obviously pretty impressive for a brand new park. And also you look at Disney this summer, many reports talking about the attendance this summer was pretty low at Disney. I'm not going to be shocked by that if that's the case.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think you would just make it up and lie about this.
I mean, like, you can check it. Like, why would you lie? You know what I mean?
Right. There's no reason for him to do that.
Right.
And I also find it interesting if they're already taking away market share, which has been projected that they would. Epic Universe, like we've just been talking about, is the weakest it's ever going to be right now. Mm-hmm. They don't have the park capacity yet. These rides, they're running through all these things. So Epic's only going to get stronger into the future. So if they are already eating into market share, it's very likely they're going to continue to do that, at least until we'll see what happens when Disney opens their stuff that they're building. But until those things are done, which I think is going to be much longer than people think, I think they're going to probably continue to just sort of chip away at market share. Well, and to go along with, I suppose you could say, the potential market share shift here, one thing you can look at, especially when it comes to Epic, is the Orange County tourist tax, basically. So this is a tax on the hotels in the area. Mm-hmm. So since Epic has opened, they've had record-breaking months, and each time it's happened, the Orange County comptroller and all the government basically says they're crediting this to Epic Universe. Mm-hmm. So it's a way to kind of see like potential, like what are they going to show in the revenue. So the July numbers just came in as well, and basically here it breaks another record. So tourist tax collections in Orange County soared like the temperature in July, hitting the highest total ever on record for the month. Receipts hit $29.5 million, an increase of 11.1%, or nearly $3 million better than July of 2024, said Comptroller Phil Diamond, whose office tracks collections and spending of revenues raised by the 6% levy on hotel rooms and other short-term lodging in the county. Diamond said collections continue to be, quote, epic, a tongue-in-cheek nod to Epic Universe, the region's newest theme park. So basically, you've had 3 straight months since Epic has opened of record-breaking tax income. And I don't know if that's going to slow down anytime soon. So even the government, though, is saying this is due to Epic Universe. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a pretty good indication. Universal and Comcast are going to show on the quarterly earnings that it's going to be in October that they're going to see quite the increase. Because we saw for the last earnings report where you basically had just a week and a half of Epic officially open, they had a 20% increase in revenue.
Okay.
So they're very likely to show quite an increase in revenue, considering as well they probably had a drop off in attendance last year, considering Epic was almost open, so a lot of people probably put trips off. Mm-hmm. And Orlando tourism has been up the past 2 years in general.
Yeah.
So that's another indication there that Epic is making an impact. So I know there were some people that thought Epic wasn't going to make any impact at all, or all these things. Obviously, it is.
It is.
And we'll see what happens. I think August will be high. It'll be interesting about September, considering September is kind of a slow season anymore, at least the first part of September.
Mm-hmm.
But I think going into the end of the year, you could just see a bunch of records being broken on this going until the end of the year.
Nice.
And like I said, Epic is only going to get stronger, so you're likely to see next summer these records get broken again.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. So, but yeah, so that's a pretty good indication there, kind of what's going on with Epic. Mark Woodbury has some interesting things to say there. And obviously, I think things are coming fairly quickly. Obviously, Rip Ride Rocket's being replaced. And I don't think they're going to be waiting. If you have these wait time issues at Epic, and let's say you get these rides ironed out and you still have pretty high wait times, I just do not see them waiting 3 years before they start adding to this park, because they want this park to be their flagship park. They want 50,000 people in this park. They spent $6 to $8 billion building this park. They're going to want to make their money back off of this. And so if they see that as an issue they need to do, I think they will fast track this stuff. And I think this next decade will be interesting too, because Universal's one of their main advantages is they build quickly. Mm-hmm. And I think that could really come into play in the next decade with adding things here, adding things to the existing parks. And you could see very quickly some of these issues with Epic be relieved, within a couple of years.